Good morning, gardening friends. Well, today it's been a few days since the last update. I haven't actually released a lot of stuff, so there's stuff coming, but of course, by the time you see this, you'll know that. And if you look at this tree, you can kind of see we have cut it back even further, and there's actually still more to go. If you kind of look at it, I think sort of the upper right corner needs to come back a bit, and really the whole top needs to come down a bit more. So that's kind of what it looks like from here. Let me kind of swing around so you can see what things are kind of looking like. Give you that perspective. A lot more has been cut off right up around here, really revealing the jade plant. And that's kind of what this tree is looking like. Which then takes us to the side yard, and yes, more hardscaping, but I think as far as the sort of late winter, early spring sort of setup of the garden, and the fact that, I'm really setting up a whole new garden for this year. So I think this is basically going to take me to, I think, where I want to be, at least for the next few months. And then I might decide to make some changes here and there, but I had to do some planning. So that is the pile to go in. There's still a couple more. I've done some rearranging. You can see this looks a little bit different. I got that to that point. I moved those two planters over there. Bucket full of rocks. Still got to deal with that. And one more planter over there. Ignore the round pot. That is basically just soil. I will figure out what to do with that. And then the other one is just an unused miscellaneous planter that has some decent soil in it. So that takes care of those. Coming across, you can now see what this section looks like. Nothing really sprouting here yet, so no major updates. Let's take a look at the pepper section. And we've got leaves in there. And I don't see anything actually sprouting. Nope. And as it turns out with the tomato plant, the person that loaned this to us, we contacted her and said, would you like your plant back in your pot? And she said, you know what, I'm a believer in not killing off a plant that's still living. So since this is still living, she said, go ahead and keep it. So now I've got to figure out how to fit this into the whole scheme. But there's a lot of reorganizing and stuff going on. So working our way around. Let's see, yeah, this is the first case where I've moved one of my stepping stones, one of the spares. So I'm basically going to put one stepping stone in here. And then as we get up here, you can see I moved some of the planters up here because ultimately, let's see if we can get a shot of it. No? There we go. You can see this pea plant has flowers on it. Actually, I think this one also had flowers on it. And then that's the, I'll think of it in a minute. I'll just put it up on the screen, sitting there. Swiss chard. There we go. That's still growing nicely, but I wanted to move these up here because they're going to get a little bit more sun. So at least for temporary, that's a good thing. I've got another one of these stepping stones there because ultimately I want to put another stepping stone in here. And I'm going to fill in the rest of that gap with the red bricks, which is why I have so many of them in the pile. And then we've got that whole section of the garden, and let me see if I can step around the pool pump and all that. And you can see we got bean sprouts. We got no less than 4 in the first pot, sorry, and then another 2 or 3. Oh, now that's interesting. I thought there were 3 in here. And it looks like, yep, somehow one of them is damaged there. I don't know if I got that in view. Let me see. There's one right back here. And it looks like it got broken off. So I don't know if I've got something eating them. That's not a good thing. But what's a good thing is I've got, 6 plants? So that's really nice. And then this down here is a celery plant I found at the local dollar store. It's not looking wonderful right now, but ultimately I'm going to build another one of these boxes similar to this one back here with the microtom But the bigger version that I built years ago, and I have videos on the various different boxes, I'm going to go ahead and do another video, show you how I come up with the dimensions for that, and show you the building of that box. So that's kind of the plan. I got a bunch of stuff to get to, so here we go. Okay, so it's been a few hours, or maybe a couple hours, I'm not sure. And this is kind of what it's all looking like. I got this side done. I was going to build a box. I'm not going to do that today. Just too much going on. But I kind of cleaned up around here. Got a couple more bricks in there. Just kind of balances with a couple of bricks over here. Clean this up just a little bit. Just in terms of, well, there's another stepping stone in there, which just sort of used up the stepping stones, the extra ones I had. And then you come up to the wall here, and now that's all kind of straightened out. I managed to get some more stuff in there. There's one that's a broken stepping stone that I had actually sitting over there a bit more. I moved it over here because of that one sprinkler sticking up out of the wall. So, but at least now I've kind of got a whole path here with the stepping stones. Good amount of room to put a bunch of different plants. Not as much variety right now. Maybe the planters don't look all that pretty, but these are not the ones that are viewable from the window. So they're just there for growing actual vegetables and what have you. So that's kind of where we are. I've got more plans, but as far as the hardscaping, I'm pretty much done. I think I got to build a box. That celery plant, I've moved it over into another place in the sun because it was starting to really wilt badly, and I know it got water this morning, so hopefully that'll perk it up. I don't want to have that die before I get to building a box, but we'll see. That's it for now. This is the Budget Gardener signing off, saying may your thumb be green.